Hey guys, got another first look video for you today, and we're going to be taking a look at something I've been interested in for a very long time. This is a Colt 6940 or IAR 6940 upper receiver. So this is sold just as an upper receiver, and there's some really cool history to it. And as you can see, there's some weirdness going on. What is this massive cancerous growth that's coming off of the handguard? So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about where this rifle, where this receiver came from, because this is the M27 that could have been. This was beaten out by the HK416 in the IAR trials for the Marine Corps, and the IAR stands for Infantry Automatic Rifle. And those started up back in around 2005 is when they first came up with the concept for the infantry automatic rifle. And it was to replace the M249 SAW, which had been in the Marine Corps inventory for a couple of decades at that point, and it had some pretty major downsides. One of the main things they were looking to address with the M249 was maneuverability, because of course it's a belt-fed light machine gun. It weighs over 17 pounds in most configurations, so it's very heavy. It's not the most maneuverable. At this point, we had been in the global war on terror, so of course in Iraq you had a lot of combat going from room to room. And so they wanted something that was a little bit more maneuverable that the Marines could work with and move a lot quicker with. And the SAW had other issues too. You had to make sure it was well maintained, well oiled, or else it would run into reliability issues. And while it was magazine or belt fed, with magazines, you really didn't want to use it because it actually ended up being incredibly overgassed, and that was due to the belt feed mechanism. It actually soaks up a lot of the energy from the gas system. So if you used a magazine with it, then it ends up just being ridiculously overgassed and having issues. But with that, the Marine Corps was actually looking at kind of a change in doctrine for the automatic gunner role. Because suppression with the M249 SAW was done with fire. So you would have a high rate of fire, you would have a lot of lead flying down range to keep the enemy suppressed, keep their heads down so maneuvering units could do their thing. Now what the Marine Corps discovered after doing some trials, doing some tests, you could also suppress an enemy by precision of fire. So that means if you have the rounds going directly over their head or right next to them, that's going to be more effective than a machine gun going cyclic, sending rounds all over the place. So you could still effectively suppress that enemy out to distance using a weapon with a lower rate of fire and a lower magazine capacity. And that's not really a new concept. This has been around for years and years. Looking at the Soviets with the RPK, which replaced the RPD belt-fed light machine gun. So the Soviets did this years ago. They did this back in the 1960s and 70s. And so the Marine Corps is essentially following a similar trajectory with the M27. Now there were three main finalists for the IAR trials. There are really four. The first being HK with the HK416, which went on to win and become the M27. Then you also had FN, and they essentially had a modified SCAR with a heavy barrel, and then also a really cool mechanism which swapped it between closed bolt firing and open bolt firing depending on the temperature of the weapon system. And then finally you had Colt with two different versions of the IAR. You had the IAR6940, which was this model here, and then they also had the IAR6940H, which was essentially the similar concept, except they worked with Knight's Armament Company to produce a different heatsink style as well as a handguard, which was lighter and more streamlined. Now, speaking of the heatsink, this really is the elephant in the room with this rifle. And this is a giant aluminum heatsink with a bunch of fins built into it. And what that's essentially meant to do is suck heat out of the barrel and disperse it so that you would keep the barrel temperature down as much as possible and disperse that temperature as quickly as possible after firing it. And what that really does is it allows you to go a longer duration of time going cyclic with it, dumping magazines if you have to, so it could fill that squad automatic weapon role. The Colt IAR also has a very heavy barrel profile, which again is going to help soak up some of that heat and let you fire it longer without having issues like cook-offs or really just blowing out your rifling on the rifle. And despite looking fairly awkward, it's actually pretty comfortable to hold and use. To me, it kind of feels like a M4 with an M203 underbarrel on it, so it's not as uncomfortable as it looks like it might be. Also, being aluminum, it doesn't add as much weight as you might think it would. The IAR comes in at around 9.5 pounds, so it's not the lightest rifle in the world, but compared to the 17-pound M249 SAW, it is very lightweight. Colt had an additional prototype, the 6940P, which had an external piston system, versus the 6940 and the 6940H, which both used a standard AR-15 style internal piston system, direct impingement, whatever you want to call it. Now, of course, the HK416 would eventually win the IAR trials and become the M27, and it's not entirely clear why it won over the Colt 6940. Some things that get brought up is the HK416 is an external piston system, so most of the heat from firing ends up staying in the barrel and in the gas block area, versus a direct impingement internal piston system ends up blowing a bunch of that heat back into the receiver, so the receiver itself will heat up, which could potentially be an issue if it's going through a high volume of fire. Additionally, the HK416 was a very well-established product at that point and had seen a ton of service use by other countries as well as by SOCOM, so it was a known product and not as much of a question as the 6940. And the last reason, in my mind at least, could be because of the unconventional nature of the 6940 and having this massive heat sink on it, which is very different. It's not something that was seen on a ton of other rifles out there, so it was kind of not really tried, true, tested technology. And the Marine Corps, a lot of the times, is looking for that standard technology that they know is going to work and is going to keep on working. And of course, the M27 has been more widely adopted as the standard rifle for all Marine Corps infantry, with the exception of, say, senior NCOs or officers who are going to still be using the M4. And I will say the 6940 might be a little bit awkward for that role. For the squad automatic gunner, it makes a lot of sense, but for a standard infantry rifleman, this is a little bit of an awkward rifle to actually use. Now, despite not winning the IAR trials, the 6940 actually did go on to have a life after the trials, and it was adopted by the Singapore Army to replace their Ultimax 100 Mark II machine guns. The 6940 was also sold in maybe some small numbers to the Mexican Marine Corps. This heatsink system also didn't just stop with the 6940 and actually was in an FBI requested rifle, the 6933CK, which had this same heatsink system except with an 11.5-inch barrel. All right, that gets us up to date on the history of the IAR6940, so let's get it out to the range and see how the first shots go with it. All right, guys, so I'm here with a Colt IAR today, and this is going to be the second time I've actually taken this out to shoot. But today I'm really not going to be putting a ton of rounds through it. I just want to put probably around 100 just to see how this heatsink works, see how warm this thing actually gets. And I am going to test a bunch of mags with it, but this is on my FN M4 lower, so this is just completely mil-spec. Bit of sacrilege having a cold upper on an FN lower, but we're going with it. So let's go ahead, throw 10 rounds through it, and see how it shoots. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run it through the gamut of different magazines that I have. So I'm going to do 5 rounds each through 10 different magazines and see how it runs. Not expecting any issues with the IAR, but we'll see what happens. And this is starting out with an aluminum mag. No problems whatsoever. So we got a Gen 2 Magpul P mag. Totally fine. We got a Gen 3 P mag. Recoil impulse is very nice on it, but it is a little bit front heavy, as you can imagine, with all this metal up here. And we got a T-mag. No issues. Got a Lancer. Just fine. Then we got an HK416 magazine. A Hera Arms magazine. Then we got an FB Radom magazine. Then we got one of these ETS mags. That one fits a little sticky in this lower, but no problem. And then finally, a surplus 20-round magazine. All right, so that was 50 rounds in pretty quick succession here. As you can see, it is smoking a little bit, so that's pretty much just gonna be oil burning off because this rifle has not had a ton of rounds through it. Just feeling it. There is a little bit of warmth actually touching the heatsink there. It's not bad at all, which you would expect. It's only 50 rounds. That's not a ton. The barrel is gonna be a little bit on the warm side. It is a very heavy barrel, so it might be warm for a little while, but overall, with magazines, didn't have any issue with any of the magazines I had today. And I'll give you a little walkthrough of what I'm feeling when I'm actually shooting this rifle. And of course, again, this is on a mil-spec lower with a mil-spec trigger. Being an upper receiver group, you can throw this on basically whatever AR-15 style lower you want. Of course, I do have one of the grip pods. This is peak GWatt. When I first came into the Marine Corps, there were a ton of these running around. Not my favorite grip in the world and not a great bipod, but this is absolutely classic of what we were seeing back in Afghanistan and Iraq. So let's go ahead, load up 10 rounds and see how it does. So first of all, the recoil impulse, it's classic A2 style flash hider. So you do have a little bit of a push down from it, from that compensating effect. And the trigger is going to be just absolutely standard mil-spec AR-15 trigger, so nothing crazy there. Recoil impulse is nice and light. So really not hard to shoot at all. I do get a little bit of gas out of this guy, so maybe with a bit of a heavier buffer like an H3, might be a little bit nicer to shoot there. And with a can on it, I can imagine this is going to be pretty gassy. Yep, so definitely get a fair amount of gas out of it, even without a can on it. So overall, though, it is very pleasurable to shoot. It is heating up just a little bit right now on the handguard. Like, this would definitely be a little bit nicer with some rail covers on there. These are also very cheese gratery, but just wear some gloves, put some rail covers on there, and it'll be fine. Now, of course, the Colt IAR didn't actually win the IAR contract to replace the M249 saw for the Marine Corps. What did win was the HK416 as the M27. Now, this is my MR556, so it's not exactly an M27 IAR, but this will give you kind of an idea of how they are. This is probably the best thing to compare the Colt IAR to as far as what I have in the collection. So go ahead and shoot this. Of course, this isn't completely stock. I've got a ton of different work that's been done to it, but just see how this shoots. So definitely get a lot of gas with this particular can on there. I do need to mess with the gas block settings on it just to see what works best with this, but this is suppressed, that was unsuppressed, and I still got a fair amount of gas out of that. The trigger on the MR556 is not much better. It's fairly comparable to a mil-spec AR-15 trigger. It's not super fancy or nice like a Geisley or a LaRue or something, but overall it is very nice to shoot. You do get a very different recoil impulse with the HK416 because it does have that short stroke gas piston system versus the pseudo DI internal piston system that you have with the Colt IAR, because that's essentially standard AR-15 as far as actual mechanics go. I'll just put the last 10 rounds through here really quickly because, of course, this was meant to replace a light machine gun, so, or squad automatic weapon, whatever you want to call it. So let's see how it does. Very nice, easy to control. It will be interesting to see how this shoots in full auto or with an FRT. Figured actually handled really well, having the weight up front, probably keep that muzzle down as well. So as you can see there, the 6940 is a very comfortable rifle to shoot, and overall it's been a joy to actually use. And over the next couple of months, I do want to put a lot more rounds through this thing, see how it actually performs in hopefully some different conditions. So we'll keep shooting it, see how it does, maybe run in a competition or two, and I'll come back with a full review. So thank you for checking out the video. Please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.